Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I will be talking about something that I've been asked about a lot, and that is how I scored and prepared for the PTE exam. I scored 90 in my PTE exam, and speaking from experience, I will be telling you guys how I prepared for it, how much time did I have, what resources did I use, and how to get 90 or the best score that you can score. So starting off with my exam strategy. So basically I had 1 month to prepare for the exam, and because I am a mother to a toddler and I don't really have the whole day to myself, I would usually take out 1 hour at night to prepare and practice for my exam. So what I used to do was I started from the module that I found the most hardest. So for me, I thought speaking would be difficult because I have a different accent. Australian accent is different, and I thought that maybe my accent would not be accepted and it won't be understandable to the system, which is the AI system that usually scores your exam. So I started with speaking first, and I used Ape Uni for my practice. I did not purchase any plan. I was using the free website. I did not even download the app. I would have 5 tickets each day, free tickets to get my practice scored. And let me tell you, Ape Uni is pretty strict. Their scores are very strict. They don't give you scores very easily. So I usually tell it to everybody who wants to prepare and get a good score in their exam to practice on Ape Uni, because if you are scoring 80 or 80 plus on Ape Uni, that means you're doing really good. And I noticed that with practice each day I was getting better and my score was getting better. So I would usually start practicing with speaking. I would use my 5 vouchers for the scoring, and once I was out of those free tickets, I would practice other modules which did not require the AI scoring, and that made it pretty easy for me to practice multiple things without wasting any time and not spending any money. So that was my exam strategy, that was my preparation strategy, and it worked really well for me. I will give you a few tips that really made a difference when I was practicing, what I thought I did differently that would improve my score. So starting with speaking, I noticed that when you're reading something or you're saying something, if you get stuck somewhere, like if you're reading a sentence like this is the apple that I'm going to eat, and if you get stuck somewhere, this is the apple that you missed that, or you get stuck somewhere, and if you stop, you take a pause, the system is going to notice that. So you're supposed to be fluent, and you're not supposed to let the system know that you're stressed out, that you're nervous. You just have to keep going. Even if you make a mistake, even if you pronounce something wrong, just keep going, because if you stop and if you take a pause, that's when your score can be affected negatively, and that is why that's going to affect your fluency. So you're going to be like, this is the apple that I'm going to eat, this is the apple that, and if I'm like that's the system's going to notice that, and that's where you can lose marks. So first for speaking is, do not take pauses, do not stop where you think you've made a mistake, just keep going. Don't get nervous, don't stutter. I know it's easier said than done, but with practice it does get really better, and you start sometimes you just start shutting your mind off, like, okay, I made a mistake, that's all right, I gotta keep going. And that only happens when you're practicing a lot, and I would recommend practicing a lot any chance you get. Then comes reading. So basically reading's the same as speaking. If you get stuck somewhere, do not go back to reread that word. Like if you get stuck on any word, that is the apple that I'm going to eat, if you get stuck on apple, do not, or if you pronounce the word wrong, if you are like apple, do not go back to read that again, just keep going, because if you go back, even if the system did not detect you pronouncing the word wrong, it will detect you going back and rereading it, and that will cause you marks. So which is why I would recommend you keep on going, do not stop anywhere. If you make a mistake, keep going. If you pronounce something wrong, keep going. If you got stuck, don't stop and like think about that, just keep going. And because if you stop, that is going to affect your fluency, and fluency is very important. And obviously, because your pronunciation, the moment you're going to tell the system, okay, my name is Muniba and blah blah blah, the system is going to detect your accent, and it's going to know, okay, this is the accent that I'm working with. And if it's not, so your accent's not going to create much of a problem during the test. So don't worry about your accent, don't worry too much about your pronunciation, but do focus on fluency. And once again, fluency gets better with practice.